Uh, just give a couple minutes for people to sign on. There's just the two of us. Oh, there we go. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Global Education. We're just going to let a few more people sign in and then we'll get started and introduce Bellevue College to you. It's always the awkward start when it's just the beginning.
Yeah. It's supposed to snow here.
Oh, nice. All right, so we're going to welcome everybody to this presentation. We've got an interesting webinar for you today. We're going to be introducing one of our new partners in the west coast of the US in Seattle. They're called Bellevue College, and they're one of our favorites. They're doing some things that are really unique in the industry, and we feel that not just of where they're located, but who they are and what their values are, is something that South African and Zimbabwean students should be aware of. We've got their international recruiter here with us from Seattle. So thank you, Beata, for joining us, and the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you, Global Education, for hosting us today. My name is Beata Anderson, and I will be presenting. And I've been at Bellevue College, and I'm an international recruiter. So the presentation is about why choose Bellevue College and what are the benefits of community college. So first, I will give you a short overview of educational system in United States. So first, the children start at the elementary schools. They go there from 1st through 6th grade. Then we have a senior high school, junior high schools, also called as secondary schools. And those are from 7th through 12th grade. After you've completed the high school, you can continue to go and pursue a higher education at the college. And here we have community colleges such as Bellevue College, and we do offer some bachelor degrees, so you can stay with Bellevue College for entire 4 years. But the most attractive programs that Bellevue College offers and where students come for is associate degree. So it's a 2-year program, after which you can transfer to the four-year university for 2 years and get the bachelor's degree. So to pursue and receive a bachelor's degree, you have to attend a whole 4 years. So you can either attend 4 years at the four-year university, or you can start at the community college first and study for 2 years and then transfer for a bachelor's degree to another university for 2 years. And last but not least, after the bachelor's degree, you can pursue your education further, and you can apply for master's degrees, and those varies. They're 1 year, 2 years, or you can also go and get a law degree or medicine degree, and those really varies. Usually law is 3 years, medicine is a little bit more. So what are the benefits of attending community college? So first of all, the requirements to get to the college are a little bit easier than if you would decide to go straight to the four-year university. To give you an example, at Bellevue College, the required TOEFL to get admitted at the college level, it's 61. And at the University of Washington, the TOEFL is 92. Also, we admit students 4 times a year, versus at some universities, or most of the other universities, the intake for students just once or twice a year. So you can come to community college 4 times a year. So kind of you can even start your education earlier than if you would decide to go to the four-year university. Of course, one of the biggest benefits of attending community college is the cost. It's the 2 years of community college is much lower than going straight to the university. Also, the admissions opportunity, they're higher. So if you are starting at the community college and then you apply to the university as a transfer, the chances of your acceptance are much higher than if you will be submitting application as straight as a freshman to the university. The another benefits of community college is that you have a chance of kind of plan and decide what university you want to go to. You know, you gonna come back to United States and start taking classes at the community college, and Bellevue College has 2 transfer fairs a year. We invite about 55 universities from all over United States, and then you get a chance to go and meet the representatives of those universities and talk to them and find out what do you think, which university is a good fit for you. Also, we have a great more opportunities for the optional practical training program. This is the program where a student can work full-time after completing the degree. So if you would go to the university, then you would have to study the 4 years straight to receive the bachelor's degree. And after the bachelor's degree, you're eligible to do 1 year of OPT. However, if you come to community college like Bellevue College and get associate degree, then you can do OPT, and then you can transfer for 2 years to complete your bachelor's degree and do the second OPT. And so the OPT is a great thing because you basically getting a work experience while being paid. So yeah, so you're just a regular employee at the place you want to work at and where you get a job. And then again, you can save money that way to even go and pursue your further education. So let's talk about the Bellevue College and where Bellevue College is located. As you can see on the map, we are located on the west side of the United States. So we are close to California. Oregon is another state we close to. We border with Oregon. And California, it's not far either. We are also about 3 hours drive to Vancouver, Canada. So, you know, sometimes our students where before the pandemic, they would just drive to Canada for the weekend. Then we are, Bellevue is only 20 minutes drive from Seattle International Airport. So it's very convenient too when you come, it's not, or when you want to leave home for holidays. The airport is not too far. And we also located about 50 minutes drive from downtown Seattle. Moreover, we are about 10 minutes drive from very known companies, tech companies, such as Microsoft, Expedia, Costco, T-Mobile, Amazon, even Apple is opening his businesses in Seattle area. So everything is really close. So you can get a very good work experience or internship experience if you're interested in the fields and working in those companies. So here are some photos of Bellevue. So as you can see, Bellevue has the high rises, but also it is surrounded by the nature. So there is a lot to do for people who like to go hiking, for people who like to go biking, and also for people who just like the city vibe. And again, if Bellevue seems maybe too small for you, you can just drive 15 minutes to Seattle and be even in the bigger city. So Bellevue College is actually pretty big. We are the third largest public school in Washington State. So there is a University of Washington, Washington State University, and Bellevue College. And we are the largest among community colleges in Washington State. And we do offer different programs. We have associate degree, university transfer, and professional technical degrees. We have applied bachelor's degrees, certificates, and non-degree programs. The student faculty ratio is about 21 to 1 faculty. So the average class size is about 21, 23. And as you can see on the right-hand side, there are just few photos of our campus. So again, we have a nice modern buildings. We also have a housing in campus, but we are surrounded by nature. So it's a nice place to be. So our student population is diverse. When welcome students from all over the world, and we really care about our students, and we have a lot of resources to help students succeed. We have tutoring centers. We have 80 clubs. So if you are interested in anything, it's possible we're gonna have a club for you to join, since we have 80 clubs. We really focus on student success. Our advisors are available for you. We have career center. So a lot of resources to help you succeed at Bellevue College. Okay, so here are an example of some most popular programs at Bellevue. As I mentioned before, the most popular is the Transfer Associate program, where students come, they study for 2 years or less, and then decide to transfer to the four-year university. The most popular programs among those are accounting and business, computer science, engineering, and nursing, etc. And we also have professional technical associate programs, and also bachelor degree programs. So if you, if you just like Bellevue College and you want to stay with us, then of course you can stay and get your bachelor's degree at Bellevue College. So we do have a partnership with several different universities. What that means that at the time of applying to Bellevue College, if there is a university that you have in mind that you want to transfer to, and that university is listed as our partner, then you can choose that university, and the university will issue you the conditional admissions letter. So that sometimes very helpful for when you go to get a visa, to show the consular that you already have a conditional admissions to a specific university, and you kind of already know your plans after completing associate degree at Bellevue College and then transferring to a university of the one that you chose. So of course, because University of Washington, it's very known university and it's nearby, the most of our students are transferring to that university. But there are so many other universities that students transfer to, and not just in Washington State, but of course, everywhere in the United States. So we do have the professional technical associate program degrees. So those programs are very career oriented. So they won't transfer to the four-year university. However, you can continue to get a bachelor's degree at Bellevue College after completion of those specific associate programs. And as you could see in my previous slide, there were examples of which programs are those that are not transferable to the university, but you can get the bachelor's degree in those here at our college. So how our application? So as I mentioned, we do accept students 4 times a year. So you can apply in the fall term, winter, spring, and summer. And the requirements are pretty simple. Our application is entirely online. So you just complete everything online, including submitting documents. So you will do the online international application form, and there is a $50 processing fee. However, anyone who is participating in this webinar and would like to attend Bellevue College and apply, the fee will be waived. So that's great for you. So you can always contact Global Education and let them know that you're applying, and they will let me know and will waive your application fee. Then you submit a transcript, most recent transcript, also a copy of your passport ID page and a bank statement. And those documents, you can, those can be just a screenshot, or they can be scanned, whichever is more convenient for you. We also have a housing on campus. The housing was actually completed in about 2018 and opened its door in 2018. So besides the housing, we also have a different options for students. We have a homestay and of course the off-campus apartments. And let me just talk to you a little bit about the housing. So we do have 5 different floors and with 8 different layouts. So there's a lot of options to choose from and how you feel comfortable and what suits you, what apartment style. And there is application fee of $25. The big benefit of living on campus, of course, is you won't have any commute. So you can walk to all of your classes. There's a cafeteria in the housing as well. So you live with domestic and international students. We do have events there when, of course, when there's no, before the pandemic, we have events, and of course, we're gonna have them after the pandemic. So you can get to know a lot of people and get to enjoy your stay. And there's another option, homestay. So if you are interested in living in the housing, you need to be at least 17 years old. However, if you're younger, if you're 16, you can do a homestay. But if you want to do a homestay, even if you're older, that's fine too. And this one is, of course, provides the private bedroom and all the meals. And here you will have some commute, depends, of course, on where the family lives. And last but not least, you can just live off campus and rent a room, and most likely in the apartment that where there's other rooms and other people live. So we have not just Bellevue, but there's a lot of surrounding little towns near Bellevue too, that neighborhoods that you can rent apartment. The commute also can be about 30 to 50 minutes, depends on traffic. But we have a great public transportation, so no worries here. And of course, we provide the bus passes, students ID. So you won't have to really spend a lot of money on that. And so most likely a lot of our students start living in a housing because it's the most convenient, but then they live in the housing for maybe a term or few terms, They get to know, the peers, and they become friends, and sometimes they decide to rent an apartment somewhere else. So those are the options for you. So there's always something to choose from. So let's talk about our tuition and fees, dates and deadlines, and our scholarships. So for the college level program, for tuition and fees, for 3 months, so we are on a quarter system. So each term it's about 11 weeks. So that's about 3 months. So for 3 months of study, for the college level, associate level, the amount is around 4,095. If you would say 1 academic year, so that's 9 months, and that does not include summer, that's 12,173. For the bachelor's level, for 3 months it's 7,128, and 9 months it's 21,272. And as you can see on the right hand side of my slide, it's a little bit of comparison of the prices of Bellevue College versus University of Washington. And you can see that if you would stay at Bellevue College entire 4 years, so do 2 years of the associate degree and then do 2 years of bachelor's degree, you would save basically half of the cost compare if you would went to University of Washington. Of course, if you still you want to get that experience of going to the university, then and decide to transfer, but start still at Bellevue College. So do 2 years at Bellevue College and 2 years at the University of Washington. As you can see on the slide, you still will save about $50,000. So that's still a big number of money that you can save. And to be honest with you, I want you to understand that no matter if you start at Bellevue College or University of Washington, for the first 2 years, you basically is going to be taking the same classes, general courses. That's why when you start at Bellevue College, those classes will transfer to the University of Washington, because this is a general courses that every student needs to start when they starting the education at the higher education level at the college. Of course, you will be taking classes, some classes towards your degree as well, let's say towards computer science, but those classes also will transfer to the university. So you can really save a lot of money. And at the end, after you transfer to the university, you will also get bachelor's degree. And then dates and deadlines. So as you can see, we are open. Our application deadline for spring, it's coming up. It's February 26th. And then for summer, May 25th, and for the fall, August 16th. I can tell you that right now, the spring term also will be hybrid. We've been hybrid for a while, so that means that you will be taking some classes on campus and some classes online. For summer term, unfortunately, and fall hasn't been determined yet. Of course, in every country, the situation is rapidly changing. So we cannot really plan a lot. So I don't want to give you a false information. So right now I know that for spring we will be hybrid. For summer and fall hasn't been determined yet. And we also have a scholarships available for new and current students. If you fill out the one application, you will be considered for about 175 different scholarship opportunities. So the deadline is March 8th for those scholarships. And the trick here is that you can apply for the scholarship even though you're not yet even you not yet, enrolled or for enroll at Bellevue College, because it's for the 2021 year. So for the fall, so the award will be for 2021 year 2022. So that means that, let's say if you would you need to apply for scholarship now, even though if you were planning to start in the fall. So I hope that makes sense. Okay, so I think I cover all of that. Oh, and the one important thing. So for the bank statement, and of course for the I-20 purpose, the amount required for the I-20 and for the bank statement, it's 26,130. And this is the estimated amount that includes tuition and fees and living expenses. So we need to add that living expenses to this estimate, not just for our purposes, but also for the counselor, because they also need to know that you will be able to live here and support yourself. So we have many support right now during the COVID. And we do have a flexible tuition payment plan. We have online courses for brand new students. So if you would, apply for spring term and were accepted, but maybe you wouldn't feel comfortable yet for coming, but you want to get ahead with your classes and you don't want to defer to the fall term because that's few months, or even summer, then you can start taking classes online. And then when you come, you just pick up when you left off. So you will just continue taking the classes and everything will come that you took before. We also have a free international shipment of textbooks for our students. The student housing is still open 24 hours with the support of 24 hours, 7 days a week. Right now, of course, the number of students living in the housing is a little less than 400 because we are accommodating the students so they live by themselves. So they due to COVID. And yeah, we have this United Way benefits hub that also provide a lot of resources. We giving out the laptops for students who don't have them and they need them for work, and other support as well. And of course, we have a lot of events for students currently, virtual events. I guess the positive thing about the virtual events is that even though some of them are for current students, I guess you can attend them too because they're virtual. So if you're interested and you want to see our events or meet our student workers, student ambassadors, and students who join those events, you're always more than welcome to join us for the events. And how you find out about the events is through our social media. So I recommend you to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and you can find out about events there, and also so many different things. We post stuff about different programs. We have student testimonials there, so you can listen why they chose Bellevue College, and you can join the events or see what the events are happening. So that will be all from me, and now I'm open for any questions.
Peter, thank you very much for that. That was very interesting. I've got a list of questions here from students that have messaged me directly here, and so we'll go through those first. Or second, I've got a couple of questions for you, just because we've both done the international student experience. We've both gone through this experience in sort of seeing how hard it is and to choose what you actually like to study, and then they'll learn where you can go and then where you can afford to go, and then what your opportunity is going to be after you study. And the reason why we like Bellevue is you've got that costing option and the difference between finishing your degree at Bellevue or going to another university. Could you just go a little bit more into the costing of that? And even though it's less, what you actually get out of it is actually a lot more services in a smaller sort of teaching environment as well. Especially for Southern Africans, that's something that we really value, are those small sort of classes. Could you go a bit more into the pricing model at Bellevue?
And okay, well, so
Maybe
a
just bring up the
different
slide with
was
the pricing again.
yeah, sure. So I'm sorry, can you see my screen?
Yep, we can.
Oh, okay, I got the notification about my internet. Yeah, so again, so the money, when it comes to the money of attending the community college, again, you can save a little bit of money because other universities are just more expensive, and again, you're going to be taking the same classes, and we have a lot of support. Even the small size classes is very beneficial for students, especially the students who are coming from a different country at first to the United States, because you need to get to know your teachers, you need to go know your peers, and uh, you're gonna maybe get a culture shock. So it's important when you are in a small size class, and get more support, versus at the university you might end up in the class that has 200 students in it, and sometimes you don't even meet your professor because they have assistant professors. And so again, the opportunity of starting at a community college at the lower cost, it's really beneficial for students. And I personally also did the community college, and then I transferred to the four-year university. And even after transferring, after 2 years of being at the community college and transferring to the four-year university, and and going to the class that has 400 students, 200 students in it, and not be able to meet the professor even after 2 years, it was a shock for me. Again, there's just a lot of opportunities, and it's not just that again, that just the tuition is lower, but also other opportunities such as that OPT, that you can do OPT twice and save some more money. Or we have internship, and we have career center. So we have those scholarships. So there's just a lot of ways to do the education and get the degree you want at the end, while saving money. So that would be my answer.
No, great. Yeah, no, very good answer. And in terms of that employability as well, and looking for those internships, I think where you're positionally located, just outside of Seattle, you mentioned it was a 10-15 minute drive from Seattle. What types of businesses are around there as well? I know on one of the slides you mentioned Microsoft, and obviously Seattle being a tech center as well. Could you explain a little bit more about what's around Bellevue?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. And our students, we actually do have a testimonial of the student who is currently working at Microsoft, who completed Bellevue College. And there is another also testimonial of the student on our social media who did several internships with Microsoft. And so Microsoft, T-Mobile, those companies are about 10 minutes drive from Bellevue College. But Amazon, Facebook, so Amazon quarters are in Seattle, but some of their offices are also moving to Bellevue, so it's going to be even closer than 15 minutes drive. And then also Facebook, some offices moving to downtown Seattle, so that will be 15 minutes. So basically, yeah, all those companies, T-Mobile, Expedia, Expedia, Amazon, Facebook, Microsoft, those are all within 10-15 minutes a drive from Bellevue College. And again, it's a great opportunity for students to get either internship there or OPT there. So a lot of options for students to get to know those companies and get that experience, working experience, and that they can use in the future in their home countries.
Great. No, that's fantastic. And I would love to have had that opportunity of knocking on those doors with, those types of businesses, just walking distance from you. Just quickly, when you mean OPT, because we've got a lot of, obviously the OPT being a little bit new to the Southern African market, could you explain a little bit more about how it works and what it stands for?
Sure. So OPT is optional practical training. I know this is a weird name maybe, but basically it's a permission to work in the United States as a full-time student. So basically but you can do that only after you get a degree. So again, you need to have associate degree, bachelor's degree, master's degree. So let's say you come to Bellevue College and you get that associate degree. So few months, maybe within 3 months before you finishing that program and getting an associate degree, you will come to, you of course work with the international advisor in our office, and they will help you complete the application. So you kind of need to apply for the permit to be approved for OPT. And then the documentation, you do the application, and we help you, and that's gonna be sent to the government and they review that. And don't worry, mostly everyone gets the OPT. It rarely happens that someone is refused the OPT. Usually everyone gets it. And then basically you are approved to work in the United States as a full-time employee up to 1 year. So as soon as you receive that documentation that you've been approved, you can start looking for a job. And then you need to find a job within 3 months also from the time of being approved. And then as you can, you might already have some connection at the time when you're applying, so you can explain your employee that that you're just waiting for your permission. But that's also very common here in Washington State, because a lot of those employers such as Microsoft, Amazon, they know that situation. So so they need employers all the time, so they actually willing to wait for students. And then, yeah, as soon as you're approved, you can, start working wherever you have a job offer from.
Great. That's awesome. Thank you, Beata. In terms of the scholarship opportunities, especially for 2021 and 2022, are there any specific scholarships that we should be aware of coming from South Africa and Zimbabwe? Are there any that you would recommend to look at first?
No, it's kind of what I mentioned. You complete one application and the student is considered among different scholarships that are offered there, being offered. They don't have to, do 175 different scholarship applications. They kind of consider for all of them at once. The scholarship, of course, it's not a full ride scholarship, so it won't, there is not right now a scholarship that will cover all the costs of the tuition and fees. It varies, and it just depends on the amount student receives that will be applied towards their tuition. So this is the scholarship obviously through Bellevue College. There are some other scholarships that students are always more than welcome to apply to, and we can also help the students to look for other scholarship types. But but this is the one through Bellevue College. But of course, again, there are other opportunities for students to apply to other scholarships as well.
Great. In terms of the campus, and something that I wanted to ask, because I haven't yet been to Bellevue, and I'm looking forward to seeing it when we can actually travel. Is the campus, is it like a typical American university or college where you've got everybody living around campus, or is it very sort of like an Australian university, which is more commuting to that university and then you leave and come back and forth? Could you just tell a bit more about the campus?
Yeah. I think I would say a little bit of both, to be honest, because we do have, for students who live on campus, in our housing, it gives you that vibe of a typical university, because they can just leave and walk to their classes, and then they can walk around. But it also, but for students who don't live on campus, it becomes a little bit of the place where you need to commute to, and then you spend a few hours there taking classes, and then you need to take a bus or a car and drive back. So yeah, so that's why I would say it's a little bit of both. So it doesn't have maybe, so I guess it doesn't have, like, some universities, they have the specific areas to like a little shopping, where little stores nearby too, walking distance. There are some shops, but not that many. So yeah, so I would say a little bit of both. Yeah. For the students living on campus, it definitely gives them a little bit more of the vibe of the university, especially, as I said, our college, it's pretty big for community college. But it is a place where kind of you need to commute to and then commute back after.
What's the population size for Bellevue?
29,000, and we have about and we have about 1,000 international students.
Oh, great. What's Bellevue's value for its students? Like, do they want to have a diversity on campus? Is that's why they're focusing on international students? I know it sounds basic, but sometimes, understanding why a university wants to focus on internationals sort of shows you the support that they're willing to give. I'm presuming Bellevue are somebody that wants to focus on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Bellevue, it's a very diverse community. And we welcome not just students from around the world, but students of the different gender, different color. So we just very, very welcoming community. That's why students choose us a lot, because we just welcome everyone, and we are support everyone. As I said, many different clubs to join, and different support services for students. So there was actually Bellevue College itself, on their social media, they did posted the flyer that we of the percentage of how much diverse we are. So if I find it now, I will let you know. But yeah.
No, that's great. That's great, but it's good to know that as well. And especially for, our recommendation to wanting to study abroad, you need to network with other cultures and learn, because that's what's in the business world, is you're constantly working with different people, across different industries. I've got a question here from a anonymous attendee here, who's asking, does Bellevue offer any medicine courses, and if so, what are the costs to study?
Yes, sure. So I just found that flyer. So Bellevue College was ranked in the top 15% of colleges and universities nationwide for overall diversity by college factual. So yeah, so that all kind of can give you more idea of our diversity.
That's huge.
Yeah. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And to answer the student's question, so the most popular, so we do have the most popular program that can help you with the pre-medicine. It's the biology courses program we offer. Let me just, give me 1 second. I have this. Okay. It's just a specific program that I want to tell you about. Almost there. So the students who want to do like pre-medicine, they do take the course in biochemistry and molecular biology program. So it's a two-year transfer associate degree program that it's for students interested in going into the medicine. So this is the most popular program for students interested in the medicine. When it comes to other kind of health-related programs, we do have a nursing program that is really, really high rated in Washington State, and the admissions for that one is very selective. Students need to do our application and also the nursing application, and it's very selective. It's very high rated program, but that's for the nursing. But for the medicine, the most popular one is chosen. It's the biochemistry and molecular biology program.
Yeah. And I'm not sure if we'll be able to answer this one because it's quite different to the US and to the UK in terms of grading. But math literacy in South Africa is kind of its own little it's a separate subject course. So most universities don't accept it. I would say we normally would answer this question once we understood where the student was going to study, what their grades were, and then looking at it in its total GPA average. Would you happen to know anything about the math literacy from South Africa and if that's accepted?
Yeah, that's a great question. Usually, so actually, since math is a very different, taken a kind of a little differently, I guess, in different countries. We do require students to take a math placement test, and everyone is required. So based on the math placement test, students place into the math classes.
Yeah, great.
So it's rarely
that answers. Yeah, sorry, Beata, what did you say?
Oh, it's rarely that we actually evaluate the math that it's provided in the transcript. It's just students take the math placement test.
Awesome. Just to whoever answered that, who asked the question, anonymous attendee, sorry, I'm calling you that. We normally have first names here, so sorry for that. Please email me at info@global-education.co.za, and we'll answer that specific question for you exactly in detail what's required for you. I've got another question here for you, and forgive me, I should know the answer to this. Does Bellevue do any postgraduate program courses?
We do have certificates. So I mean, it's not necessarily postgraduate, but if the student graduated and they want to come back, and we definitely get the inquiries of that as well. They maybe want to do another bachelor's degree or even another associate degree, or just a certificate. They got the bachelor's or associate, but they feel like they want to do maybe start in a different direction. We have a lot of certificates programs that we offer at Bellevue College.
Brilliant.
We don't have master's programs.
Okay, great. One question for me, do you have that slide with the picture of where Bellevue is with the mountains around it and that? Sorry, you brought it up last time. It was one of my favorite pictures.
Can you see my slide?
Yeah, we can see your slides.
Is that the one you were asking for?
Yeah, brilliant. So when you're studying at Bellevue there and the airport, you would have a shuttle that would pick up the students. sort of looking after them. What's that whole experience for once you actually arrive as an international student? Is there like an orientation week? What happens as a freshman or, first year international student?
Yeah, we do have an orientation for students, and we do not have the airport pickup, so students need to have their own transportation. The Seattle city, I mean, not just the city, but they're working on the rail light train kind of subway type of thing, but that's not completed yet. That will be completed in a few years, maybe two, maybe 1 year. And some, the connection, so it's better. So there's development going on. On that, I was reading in one of the cities, they will complete in 2023, but that's farther from Seattle. So that's why I said maybe in 2 years they will complete that connection. So eventually there will be, like something that the student will be, like a train the student will be able to take straight from the airport to Bellevue. However, right now they need to take just Uber or Lyft or taxi.
Yeah.
Or a bus, There are buses as well, so they can take a public transportation bus.
I think using Uber in Seattle is a very different experience using Uber in South Africa, where it's actually created and where everybody uses it. So I think the biggest difference for a lot of South African students is when they see the Uber pool and how it's really used in the US, especially. It's like completely two different services. So yeah, that's one of the fun parts of being in the US.
Yeah, I mean, of course, it's I remember when I didn't live yet in Washington, and I came to Seattle to the airport, and I just requested Uber. So there is like a special area when it has all the signs in the airport and tells you where to go for Uber or Lyft, and you just go to the place and just wait for arrival of your car. So yeah.
Yeah. Got a question from a student here, another anonymous question here. So I'm sorry, I'm going to call it anonymous attendee. How long would a nursing diploma take at Bellevue?
So the same as other programs, it's 2 years for associate degree and 4 years for a bachelor's degree. So you can actually do nursing at Bellevue College for the bachelor's degree. The only thing is, again, it's a little selective, and for example, the application for nursing program for fall term, the deadline is actually I think it's up to like March 8th or something. So again, so for international students, if you really want to do nursing program and you're thinking about fall term, you actually need to apply right now for both, for international and for the nursing, because to apply to nursing you need to have an ID, a BC ID. So even though the international application deadline for Falter is August 16th, if you want to apply for nursing for fall, you need to apply like soon for Bellevue College, because again, the deadline for nursing, it's I don't remember the dates, but right now, but I think it's the end of February, starting from the 8th of February to like beginning of March. So they have like a week open window, and that's already for fall. And also another thing to keep in mind, they do not accept summer term. So you could actually start in the summer and start taking some general courses, or even spring, but then you have to wait for fall term to start a nursing program.
Great, thank you, Beata. One question that I've got for you, and I think for some of the students here that might find it relevant, when you're talking about transferring or doing your first 2 years at Bellevue and then doing the next two at a 4-year university, you had a slide up that had some really good university names there. Could you bring that slide up on where you can transfer to? And what's the benefit of going to Bellevue and getting you in? Because if you were to apply to any one of those universities as a freshman, you're going to find it really difficult to get in, especially being an international student. Could you just explain a little bit more about the relationship with Bellevue with those institutions?
Yeah, okay, so yeah, first, like, we do have partnerships with those universities. So that means that it's kind of guaranteed that all the classes you will take at Bellevue College will transfer to that university. So you won't have to retake anything. It won't take you longer to graduate. So basically, yes. So if we are a partner with a university that you want to go to, you get that conditional admissions letter, and then all those classes, that partnership, like all those classes, will transfer to the university that partners with us. That doesn't mean that you need to go to the partner university. If as you can see, the students are some of those universities that are listed here on the slide, they are not our partners. And students still can transfer to those universities. It's just they need to work with our international advisor and just kind of see what classes will transfer to those universities that don't partner with us. Still, most of the classes will transfer, so there's I would not stress about it. Most classes will still transfer. I transferred from school to Chicago to school in Oregon, and still, like, most of my 60 credits transferred. So there might be one or two classes that won't transfer, but they will still. Yeah. But if we a partner, then all of them will transfer, basically. So.
Brilliant. No, that's really good information. I hope people were listening to that, because it's an incredible opportunity. If you are lucky enough to get a scholarship or to be able to afford to study at one of these places, it's a huge opportunity, like we say. I'm going to ask if there's any more questions. I've gone through all the questions that I'd like to ask and what I've been received from students. Is there anything you would like to ask, Beata?
No, I don't think I have any questions.
Won't put you on the spot yet. No, great, awesome. I'd like to thank you very much for spending the time with us in the US and sharing this with us. I know you're still new to the Southern African market as well, and this has been our second webinar together. So I know we will be doing a lot more in the future. Can you just read out your contact details again for anybody that would like to sign up or reach out to you? And like to say thank you to everybody, and we can close up over there.
Yeah, and I hope that that some of you I will meet maybe here at Bellevue College, and maybe even sometime in the future if I will have any opportunity to go to South Africa.
Brilliant, awesome. Thank you, everybody, and please reach out to us at Global Education. Beata's contact details are on the slide. And you know where we are, globaleducation.co.za. And look forward to seeing you all in the next webinar.
Thank you so much. And thank you everyone who joined.